Hello students, today I will take up a new poem that's name is England in 1819. Students, this is a very beautiful sonnet. And do you know what is sonnet? Sonnet is a poem of the 14 lines. If you count these lines of this poem, you found it. Here is a 14 lines. So, first of all, we will do the introduction of the poet P.B. Shelley. And P.B. Shelley, known as Percy Bysshe Shelley, was one of the major English Romantic poets. He was born on 4th August 1792 in England. He is an alma mater of the University of Oxford, but due to his revolutionary ideas, he was expelled from the university, and at the age of the 19, he secretly married Harriet Westbrook. And Harriet Westbrook is a girl of the 16 years only. Although Shelley's relationship with Harriet remained troubled, but the young couple had two children. And in 1816, Harriet lost her life. And Shelley married Mary Godwin. Mary Godwin is the name of her second wife of P.B. Shelley. And at the very early age of 30, P.B. Shelley died by drowning in 1822, and his boat capsized in the Gulf of Speyer during a storm. Shelley's literary and political work is in the spirit of rebellion, and this famous poet has written a number of the poems, and his collection are, first one is Queen Mab, that is written in 1813, the Revolt of Islam in 1816, An Ode to the West Wind, To a Skylark, A Hymn to the Intellectual Beauty, are among the best known lyrics. And then, now about the poem. In this poem, England in 1819 is the beautiful sonnet. And do you know what is sonnet? Students, sonnet is a poem of the 14 lines. You can count the lines of this poem, and this is the sonnet. The poet has presented a real picture of society in England, and here is a constant struggle. Where is constant struggle? In England is a constant struggle between the rich and the poor, the oppressor and the oppressed, liberty and tyranny, evil and good. During the time period of this poem, King George III ruled over England. But everyone dislikes King George and his 9 sons because of their cruelties and idleness. King George, who is old, mad, blind, and despised and dying because he is on the very edge of the death. Not only King George, but all his sons could neither see nor feel nor know. In nutshell, we can say that all are the emotionless in publicly, so everyone dislikes him. And this was also the period when the reform agitation had flared up in the country, and the public wanted to get rid from these leech-like rulers, so that people live in the world of equality, in the world of liberty, and in the world of justice. In this sonnet, the poet describes the cruel picture of King George and his sons. In this poem, the poet presents the stupidity of the King George and his sons, and he compared his 9 sons to the leech, and he wants to see the England free from these leech-like rulers, those who are sucking the blood of the poor. Hello students, now start the stanza 1. An old, mad, blind, despised and dying king, princes the dregs of their dull race, who flow through public scorn, mud from a muddy spring, rulers who neither see nor feel nor know, but leech-like to their fainting country cling, until they drop blind in blood without a blow. A people starved and stabbed in the untilled field. Now, first of all, you will note down the word meaning of this stanza. Despised, that means hated. Dying king, here is a phrase, dying king. King is a noun, and we will write the meaning of the dying. Dying, that means about to die. Dying king, a king who is nearer to the death. And dregs, that means worthless part of the something. And scorn, that means to reject. Fainting, lacking strength and cling. And to cling, that means to hold very tightly. Now explanation. An old, mad, blind, despised, and dying king. By these lines, the poet attacks the England ruler King George and his 9 sons. In the first line, he says that an old, mad, blind, despised. It means the poet is talking about the King George. And King George is blind, is mad, and is despised. It means worthless. And dying king, and is a king who is at the verge of death. That means King George is nearer to the death. And the second line, princes. Here is the poet princes use this word for all the 9 sons of the King George. And he says that all the princes of King George and all are the same, and they are useless and follow their same dull race, and no one likes him. And the next line, through public scorn, that means nobody liked the King George and his old sons. And mud from a muddy spring. It means all the sons of the King George are just like a mud and from the muddy spring. Next lines, rulers who neither see nor feel nor know, and but leech like to their fainting country cling. In these lines, the poet compares the rulers of England to leeches, which have fattened themselves on the blood of the common people, and the sons and the 9 sons, and the king George, who has no feeling, they can't see and they cannot feel and don't know what is happening in their country. And their fainting country cling, that means England that of that time was in the economic crisis. And when a country comes in an economic crisis, what's the reason of it? Is that the result of this is the political incompetency. And the King George, he has no competencies to handle all the situation and the crisis of the country. Now next line, a people starved and stabbed in the untilled field, an army which liberticide and pray, and makes as a two-edged sword to all who wield. First of all, you will note down the word meaning. Starved, that means hungry. This word is given in the third number. A people starved, and here is a starved, that means hungry. And stabbed, that means thrust a knife. Untilled field, that means not fertile, and we can say it unplowed. Liberticide, that means destroyer of liberty. And prey, that means a living thing that is eaten by other living thing. And wield, that means control. Now explanation of these lines. The poet here refers to the two masquerade. Here is the poet, here is referred to masquerade. The first one is Peterloo and the second one is Waterloo. And in which masquerade several innocent people were killed. And the innocent people were on the two-sided sword. And in the same situation in England, the innocent people who are on the two-sided sword. Two-sided sword, that means we can say it that जैसे होता है ना कि धोधारी जो तलवार होती है कि तलवार के उस साइड भी एज होता है और सेकंड दूसरी साइड भी एज होता है, तो वो एक जो होता है वो पर्सन उसके लिए बहुत ही ट्रबलसम होता है. The innocent people were on the two-sided sword. One is they are all used by the government to repress the liberty, and the second that the English people wants to obtain, and that people are further repressed by the law. First one, here is the poet used this two-sided sword. That means the innocent people repress the liberty. Who repress their liberty? The government repress their liberty. And the second one, the law that is that is passed by the government. And these all the laws, they benefit the wealthy people. and they are beneficial for the rich people and further harm the poor and the middle class. And the next line, golden sanguine laws which tempt and slay, and legion Christless and godless, a book sealed. In these lines, the poet says that in 1819, time period of King George, and this time period affect not only the social and the political life, it impacted the religion also. And of that time, religion and that all the church are Christless. There is no God. And law always favored the rich and the powerful person. And religion had bloody, and we can say that religion had lost in power. They become useless. And here is note down the meaning: sanguine, that means bloody, and slay, that means to kill somebody in a violent way. And this line, this is to the legal system of England, and this that is based on the violence. And tempt slay, here is mentioned tempt slay. Tempt slay, that means government hired agents who stimulated revolution in order to that it might be put down. And it means government hired agents, and those who are ready to, and those who are ready to stop the revolution, that is, and we can say that, and they are ready to stop the voice of the poor people. And the next line, a senate time was statue unrepealed, are graves from which a glorious phantom may and burst to illumine our tempestuous day. And first of all, note down the word meaning. Senate, that means the parliament house. In India is a parliament, Sansad Jyotia, that is a parliament house, and in England, in parliament, we can say the senate. And statue, that means law, and the next one, unrepealed, that means unreformed, and graves, that means tomb, phantom, we can see it illusion or a ghost, and burst, that means explode, and illumine, that means to light up. Tempestuous, violently excited. And in these lines, the poet says that a senate is the voice of the common people. We can say that parliament is the voice of the common people, because all the person, because there is all the representative of the public. So we can say that parliament or a senate is the voice of the common people. Now it's become a hollowed institution. Hollowed institutions, why? Because all the common people stimulated by there, and it seemed that it would be in favor of innocent people, but it was unreformed. They are not following the innocent people. They passed all the laws that is for the beneficial of all the rich people, and all the right of these people graved by government, from which a glorious phantom may burst to illumine our tempestuous day. In these lines, the poet says that the vision will come out of the graves of the poor people, all the representative of the public, that is graved in a senate. And he says that one day, the day will come out of that graves of the poor people, which will bring a new era of the equality, a new era of the liberty, and a new era of the justice in all the fields of the life, as in the field of the political, as in the field of the economics and the social. And students, this is a very beautiful sonnet, and try to understand the meaning of these poems and prepare it accordingly.